Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Zems, and welcome to another reaction video. Today, we're gonna be reacting to Rotten Mango's worst TikTok mom loves to date killers in prison and makes daughters call them daddy. Pause. If you guys want to see this video in entirety, make sure you swoop down to the description box. Click on the link and watch the video in entirety because I want to be pausing, stopping, and talking through the whole thing. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Zems, and welcome to the Crow's Nest.
Have you ever heard of the Russian sleep experiment?
Yes.
It's a fake fictional story. It's a creepypasta where 5 subjects, they're prisoners of war. They're given the option. You can take part in our sleep study where you will be awake for 30 full days. You don't get an inkling of sleep for 30 days, a month. And if you survive, if you make it to the end, you can be free. We're not going to hold you prisoner anymore. You can walk out of here and nobody is going to hurt you. It's a singular month in exchange for the rest of your life.
Not a good deal.
Why would you not take it? The experimenters, the researchers, they developed this special gas that's going to prevent the subjects from falling asleep. And the first 5 days, everything goes well. They hardly complain. They're like, this is the best thing ever. We're going to be free in 25 days. After the first 5 days, the subjects start exhibiting severe paranoia. They stop talking to each other. Their only companions in the entire study, they turn on each other. They start whispering into the microphones for the researchers. They believe if they turn on their fellow subjects, they can win the trust of the experimenters that are testing on them and guarantee their freedom. 9 days in, one of the subjects does not stop screaming for 3 hours straight. He is screaming until he tears his vocal cords. And long story short, by the halfway mark, all of the windows that the experimenters are looking into, they're covered in feces. They tell the subjects on the intercom, "We are opening the chamber to test the microphone. Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor or you will be shot."
That's what I said. I give shout out to all my correction officers. I know a couple of y'all has been hit in the face with pea doodle pellets. Bro, I could not do it. I just couldn't, man. I feel like if I got hit by a turd, bro, or a bucket of diarrhea or something like that, bro, you gonna have to terminate me on the spot because I'm about to just black out. I'm gonna wake up in handcuffs. I'm gonna be somewhere in the jail or something. I could not. Oh my, can you imagine if somebody ate? Oh, bro. Oh man, they had like corn and something. You get hit with a solid turd across your lip or something. Your lip just go like, oh.
Compliance will earn one of you your immediate freedom. They just hear a singular voice call back out to them. "We no longer want to be freed." By the end of it, the researchers go in and they got to get the subjects out. They find once they open the door, the subjects have started tearing off their own flesh, consuming it. The researchers are providing the medical care that's needed to save them. But in the end, the subjects, they all want to go back into that chamber. They all want more of that stimulant gas. The same thing that ruined them, turned them into these violent zombie-like creatures. They want that gas. They don't want to sleep. So the experimenters ask, why would you possibly want something that destroyed you? They say, well, I must remain awake. It's an addicting idea, the theory, the concept of what happens to humans if they don't sleep. There are content creators that have been trying to replicate that feeling. TikTok Live being one of the platforms. It's called disturbed sleep live streams. This is a whole niche of TikTok live streams. A camera is set up and it's live streaming a tiny little bunker-esque room with a tiny bed. There are neon lights typically everywhere. It's not the type of environment that you're gonna catch some good quality sleep. You have the live streamer on the bed and then there's this board behind them. And this live streamer, I mean, their eyes are closed, they're acting like nobody else is in the room with them. It feels oddly voyeuristic and illegal. The board usually says, for this donation, this will happen. So for example, for a Galaxy donation, a giant air balloon puppet, the ones you see in front of the car dealerships, will blow up, fill up the room, and start singing Baby Shark loudly at full volume. The concept is very simple. You donate money to watch the live streamer get woken up over and over and over again, not being allowed to fall asleep, never getting the sleep that they desperately claim that they want.
Are they sleeping or are they sitting there?
They're sleeping. They're laying down, eyes closed.
So
That's
how
crazy.
did that balloon pop up?
Once you donate, it's all automated.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if someone is there helping.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, and they make money. You get your own little Russian sleep experiment. You get to torture these live streamers, and humanity becomes less appealing for aliens to save. This is the TikTok live streaming world. It is like an internet's no man's land. I mean, sometimes it's fine. Like sometimes you get those packaging videos or like the crystal scoops or the live harvesting pearls from oysters. I don't know how good that is, but you get those. Other times you go on there and it just progressively gets weirder. There are people pretending to be robots saying, if you donate X amount, I will slap myself in the face. There's this one guy who's on live. He makes these card houses, like, you know, you stack the cards, and he just starts crying, begging viewers not to donate, which is confusing. And of course, reverse psychology is everyone into donating because they want to know what's going to happen if they donate. And he's just sobbing like someone is holding him at gunpoint. Some people sit there and they tell you the fate of the rest of your life for a small Galaxy donation of $9. I mean, it is the place to breed insanity. And as of recently, a woman named Ash Trevino becomes one of the more perverse additions to TikTok Live. Ash Trevino is a 36-year-old woman from Texas.
Also, let me know down in the comment section, would you guys for or against when they say they were getting rid of TikTok? I know some of you guys learn how to do stuff, because I'll sit here and say TikTok has a certain amount of cringe, but it also has its benefits. Like I've learned a lot pertaining to like cars and building stuff. So you have people out there that's like really like art, you know, you learn so much from TikTok, but you also have the downside, the negative. But you can say that about Instagram, you can say that about Facebook, you can say that about YouTube, you can say that about any platform, really. But let me know down in the comment section if you guys were for or against TikTok being brought back after it was saying that it was going to get banned from the United States or so, whatever it is. But me being the nerd that I am, most of my TikTok is filled with gaming videos. It's filled with like Pokemon stuff. It's filled with people trading card auctions and stuff like that. One Piece cards, Goku cards, this anime stuff. It's just a whole bunch of stuff. If you guys didn't know I was a nerd, I'm a big A nerd, especially when I was over in Japan, man. I should have bought more Pokemon cards and stuff when I was over in Japan, and I didn't. So I regret it to the fullest, but it is what it is.
Who is very clearly doing well for herself on these TikTok live streams. She claims that the most that she's ever made in a single live stream, one sitting there for 2.5 hours, she received $12,000 in donations. $12,000.
Gee whiz.
And her content is not even that stimulating. Like if you're swiping through TikTok Live, you see a man sleeping next to a giant air balloon puppet, you see a man crying on live, these are going to capture your attention. She just sits there at her makeup desk on the phone talking to her boyfriend. And you're just listening to them talk. You listen to their conversation like a little fly on the wall. I mean, one of her many boyfriends. One of them is named Francisco, and the live stream is set up to face her. She's got him on speakerphone on a separate phone, and she's all giggly. She's like a little girl in love. She's 36 though, so I guess a woman in love. She puts the phone up to the live stream.
2.3K people watching you right now.
Francisco, you just hear his voice. He says, I'm just saying, I'm not going to share advice. Like, if you want to take the time of your day to actually get to know me.
You want to take the time of your day to actually get to know me.
No, I don't need them to like you. I don't need them to like you, sir.
Oh my God.
Guys, he's innocent, and I don't care what y'all say, what y'all think. He's innocent, and y'all are going to see that. And when he becomes...
What are they commenting?
And yeah, they were like, oh, he's not innocent, he's dumb, this and that. Oh, they said he's innocent, but he's in jail. Oh my God, they said, honestly, rip to those who lost their lives.
And her viewers, Ash Trevino's viewers, they start turning on her, asking her, why would any of this be funny? Why is this funny to you? Why are you laughing? And she responds angrily, why is it funny? Because you guys are sitting there posting it on my stuff. That's why it's funny. Because y'all are making it seem like some man is guilty of that when he has nothing to do with that. So that's why it's so funny, because y'all are blaming somebody that's innocent. Like, y'all don't even know the whole freaking story, bro. Y'all see what y'all hear and what y'all read, and it's not even the truth. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Which has people begging the question, what did he do? What is he innocent of? March 28th, 2018, 9:30 p.m. The King County Sheriffs are called to this apartment complex. It's a big apartment complex. It's one of those where you have multiple different units, multiple different buildings and facilities. And the police, they know why they're called to the apartment, but even when they get there physically, it's like every single resident came out of their unit and now they're just running. They're scrambling. People are running every which way. The entire apartment complex feels like all hell has broken loose. The police go straight to the place where everybody is running away from. They go straight there. They're going in the opposite direction. They get to the side of the apartment complex, and on the pavement, they find 2 bodies laying there soaked in blood. 2 teenage girls, 13-year-old Elizabeth Juarez and 19-year-old Eviana Cortez. And now the question that police have is, why would anybody want to kill 2 teenage girls? Especially one that's 13. This doesn't even make any sense. What kind of people have it out for them? In 13-year-old Elizabeth's bag, they find a black can of spray paint. And above her body, they see all of this graffiti. They're called like gang tags. You mark your territory, essentially street gangs will, by graffitiing their symbols, their names, their street names, their gang names, their acronyms. And it has been reported that Elizabeth, 13-year-old Elizabeth, was part of the South Side Locos. It's a street gang. And I say was a part of very loosely because she's 13. I barely knew what I was doing at 13. The last thing that I had the mental capacity to do is pledge my loyalty and life to a gang. But apparently, she had seen that a rival from an opposing gang, their rival street gang, was moving into their apartment complex. And prior to moving in, they had come in and graffitied their name, ULK, all over the apartment complex. So as the rival gang member, she goes and she just starts crossing it out. She crosses out their acronyms, crosses out their names, and that is perceived to be a direct threat. Somebody sees her doing this. Now you're gonna think, if you see a little 13-year-old girl graffitiing on the side of the wall, even if you're a part of the opposing gang, I don't know, aren't there codes of conduct? Don't harm children. Would you not just think to yourself, what has this 13-year-old gotten into joining a gang? But no, she is shot and killed. Along with her, Eviana Cortez, who just happened to be there that day. She had nothing to do with the graffiti.
Like, it sucks to hear it happens, but growing up in South Central Los Angeles, boy, let me tell you, I have seen plenty of people get punched out for doing absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. You could walk outside and get on the bus and you could be wearing red or blue and somebody sees it and they don't like it. And it could be a Crip or a Blood. If it's MS-13, it can be a F-13, you know, whatever other kind of gangs they got going over there, Hoover, all that stuff that's going on in Los Angeles. There's a lot, too many gangs to keep up with, but you couldn't wear certain hats. You couldn't wear certain shirts. You couldn't wear certain shoes, colors. You couldn't have certain backpacks. Certain backpacks meant certain things. Being around people that's affiliated with gangs can get you shot. Like for instance, in the video right here, she had nothing to do with it, but the old girl that was crossing out the gang territory, they take that stuff extremely serious. A lot of people are, oh, gang violence is stupid. Bro, they eat and breathe that. They grew up around it. That's just how it is. A lot of times they use these younger kids as pawns because a lot of times when younger kids get in trouble, they only get in trouble for like a couple of months, maybe a week. They get community service, they get released back out there. So that's why a lot of times they send the younger kids to go do that stuff because they get slaps on the wrist. But sometimes if you get caught by somebody that believes that you're disrespecting them, and just how like some of us have these faith in Christianity and Catholic and you know, whatever it is that you may believe in, they see gangs as the same way. They believe Blood to the day they die. They believe Crips to the day they die, and all these other gangs, they believe it to the point to where if they even feel like they're being disrespected, they're going to try to do something to you, or they're going to try to do something to somebody that you know, and it's never ending, man. It's just the violence never stops. I'm so grateful that I made it out alive. A lot of my friends were killed in Los Angeles off of gang violence and drugs. It gets crazy, bro. You see it on TV and all this stuff, but like when you see it in person, you start to think like, wow, this is insane. Like, I'm really living in this right now. Like, getting on the bus, like it's just not a life you want to live, and it's just having to constantly look over your shoulder and not carrying big bills on you because you don't know if you're gonna get robbed or shot, and you know, getting home and your parents had to tell you to be home before the street lights come on, and you can't take walks and stuff at night. Like, it's none of that stuff. You know, like you see some people walking at night with their dogs and jogging at night. It was none of that. I've seen people get beat up for people asking them where they from. Like, people say that in Los Angeles, like, where are you from? They're asking like, what gang are you from? Like, what gang are you initiated in? If you look like you're a gang member, or if you're around somebody that looks like it, they'll try to press you. But I've seen people get pressed on a bus and they say, where are you from? And they be like, oh, I'm not from anywhere. And they don't believe them, and they still beat them up and take their stuff. And it's just like, you're not safe anywhere.
Elizabeth is shot in the back of the head and the back of the left thigh. Eviana is shot 4 times to her stomach, leg, and left ear. They are both pronounced dead at the hospital.
So he lives there and he just walked out and opened fire?
In a car. Yeah. Wow. That is Francisco, and that is what he is in jail for. This is the person that TikToker, if you can even call her that, viral train wreck, Ash Trevino, is dating and is live streaming, talking to on the phone while he's in prison for these crimes. They said RIP to the people who lost their lives, and she's cackling. She claims that he's innocent, but is he really? 19 shell casings were found at the crime scene.
Dang.
And Francisco's DNA was found on those shell casings. In Francisco's apartment, they find a revolver, a 9mm magazine matching the shell casings left at the crime scene. They find a laser sight for a handgun to help aim. They find loose ammo as well as writing that confirmed Francisco's gang affiliation. They find messages and photos referencing the double homicide on his phone. In one video that Francisco takes, he is at the memorial for both of his victims. This is days after the murder, allegedly saying, "Man, shows you the repercussions when you f with a G-man. You already know what it is. ULK," his gang name. It is believed that he sent this video to fellow gang members on Snapchat. They also found messages from another gang member to Francisco, sending a picture of Elizabeth with the words RIP little one, to which Francisco's account responds, "That bitch." 13-year-old. But another aspect to this case that makes people feel like, yeah, sure, but he's definitely guilty. He's got quite a list of crimes that he's been convicted for aside from the double homicide. Tampering with evidence. He tried to intimidate a minor to take the fall for a gun that was found in his car. He has 2 convictions for assault, one of which took place in the jail. The reason that he assaulted a fellow inmate is apparently a guy walks into the unit. Turns out he's part of the rival gang, and without any provocation, Francisco takes off his jail slippers and just starts jumping on this man, punching, kicking him, throwing him onto the ground out of nowhere. Aside from that, the 4 assault cases, the witness tampering case, Francisco is already in prison for another murder that he has been convicted of another rival gang member.
So he murdered 3 people?
Yes.
That boy
He
out
is
of control.
connected to 3 separate murders, 4 assault cases, 1 case of tampering with a witness. The prosecutors wrote this about him. Given the defendant's brutal course of conduct and disregard for human life, the defendant clearly presents a substantial likelihood of danger to the entire community. He is in prison, but somehow that is exactly what TikToker Ash Trevino wants in a romantic partner. She likes to date men in prison that are accused of doing heinous things and documents all of this on her TikTok live stream.
I mean, that's a lot of women, though.
Netizens are getting involved in real time to try and call the authorities to get her children taken away from her and her prison boyfriends. They want to save her kids from her. Her being Ash Trevino, the now infamous inmate hopper. In the past few weeks, the internet has collectively band together to get a CPS case opened on a TikToker named Ash Trevino. Ash Trevino is, I want to say she is constantly live streaming. It's like being a CCTV camera on her phone, just a wall camera, a fly on the wall.
How old are her kids?
She is 36. She has 2 daughters that are 16 and 13. And she believes that the internet is unjustly trying to get them taken away from her. Ashley addresses this in a live stream saying,
"Y'all are really trying to get my kids taken from me, and it's not going to happen. Do you know how many CPS cases I've had on me in the last 4 months, and I still have custody of my kids? Like, you do understand when you call CPS, you have to have actual proof that they're in an unfit condition, right? You do understand that, right? For those of y'all that love to call CPS on me, y'all do understand. You have to have proof that my kids are in harm's way, my kids are this, my kids are that, y'all really have to have proof."
So here is the list of proof that netizens have gathered against Ash Trevino.
Did she just brag about she had 20 cases
Yes.
on her?
And nothing has happened. That's her biggest flex.
And the biggest flex is that you would think to be like, hey, why are they calling CPS on me? But the fact that she's bragging about it, like, hey, it's nothing you guys can do about it. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I don't really care. It's not the fact that, yeah, you're maintaining their health. Yeah, you're buying them clothes and stuff. But you have to think about the emotional and the mental aspect of it, because it's kind of like you're kind of setting that roadway. You know what I mean? You're paving that roadway for them to follow. So when they're growing up, they're going to look and be like, hey, this is what my mom is doing. So it's okay to date criminals. It's okay to date people or murderers and stuff like that. And it's absolutely not. But who am I to sit here and say what you can and cannot do? You know what I mean? It sucks. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's like, what can you do? You know, I mean, I'm glad that the netizens and stuff are coming together and try to figure out a way to get the kids better, like mental and emotional space. But it's just like she had said, it's just like, it's only so much you can do before you're turned down by CPS, and it's only so much they can do and have to go off of before they are able to actually do something. So it sucks, but it's definitely not a bragging point, I would say.
Biggest accomplishment is evading CPS, falling through the cracks of CPS. In the state of Texas, one of the main things CPS workers are looking for is kitchen and food availability. The guidelines are along the lines of kitchen should have healthy, readily available food. CPS looks for balanced food options like fruits, vegetables, dairy, and proteins to ensure proper child nutrition, which some netizens are pointing out that it seems like the entirety of the food consumption that Ash eats. I mean, there are fitness gurus who have done 40-minute videos on Ash Trevino's diet, just critiquing the way she eats. Her main consumption is hot Cheeto and bean dip.
Bean dip, because I'm the bean dip queen.
Ashley does these massive grocery hauls that netizens have been dubbing the Red 40 haul, Red 40 after the chemical coloring, because she will spend nearly $800 at the grocery store and just come home with different variations of hot Cheetos and sour candies, which I will say, not having access to healthy produce or fresh food is a big problem, especially in the state of this economy. And I don't think that netizens should dictate what other people eat or don't eat. But a few things. Ashley is a mother, and it's typically a natural want for parents to want to feed their kids fresh, healthy meals that are nutritious. But if she does not have the financial resources, that's one thing. But she is spending $700, $800 on chips and snacks during these grocery hauls. There is not a fresh leaf in sight.
$700? Like,
and she lets you know.
100 bags of chips?
Yeah, she'll
Twix
read you the
on it.
whole receipt. She'll show you the receipt. She loves showing people how much money she spends.
$738.
Which naturally angers a lot of netizens. A lot of netizens feel like if I had $800 to blow on groceries in a single trip, I would get my kids everything fresh and nutritious. I would get them so many eggs. In another live stream, her kids are talking about how they want Ashley to make food for them tomorrow. And she's shocked. She's genuinely shocked on the live stream.
Oh, y'all want me to cook tomorrow?
Both of y'all. She gives both of her kids a death glare. Like they have asked her to sacrifice her life for a bag of tennis balls. Netizens point out they have never seen her daughters eat a home-cooked meal. Ever. And they suspect that her two kids are probably suffering from a lack of nutrition. She also eats chips in a very interesting way, or at least a few times she has. She gets the chips in her hand and she throws it back like she's taking a shot. And one comment reads, "She's eating chips like she's taking a damn vitamin and it's taking me out." But I guess one could argue, I mean, at least her kids are being fed, right?
Eat chips
I
like
guess.
vitamins.
The next thing CPS looks for are appropriate sleeping arrangements. This is a big one. Infants need safe cribs, free of blankets and toys. Opposite children over 6 years old should typically have separate rooms, and bunk beds must have safety railings for younger children. When Ash is doing a live stream, she's showing off her apartment. She does a quick peek into her daughter's room. They share a room, 16 and 13, and netizens are very quick to point out, wait, is that a singular air mattress on the floor for both the girls to sleep in? Just a singular air mattress in the room for both of her daughters to share.
That's
When
wild.
netizens start pointing that out, Ashley states that they're not staying with her, implying it's fine because they're only here once in a while. They're staying with her parents. And again, not being able to afford proper furniture for children is not something that parents should be ashamed of. It's very difficult to
Right.
provide the necessities these days. But Ashley should be ashamed. She gives her daughters an air mattress, not because of her lack of funds. It is her gross misappropriation of those funds. It's estimated that on her live streams and gifts donations alone, she brings in around $1,000 to $2,000 in a singular day. $1,000 to $2,000 a day. She says the most she's ever brought in 2.5 hours was $12,000. She's constantly on TikTok lives doing these hauls. She shows off her new shoes. She's unboxing it. They're slippers. They're house slippers. And she says, "These are not Temu. Trust me, I wish they were." And she opens up her Balenciaga slipper box and she's aggressively showing the Balenciaga tag to the camera.
All my name brand stuff is actually name brand.
Even when she does a makeup haul, she's insufferable. She says, I only spent $395 at Ulta. I was just putting things in the bag. I wasn't even looking at the prices. I literally thought that I was going to spend $1,000, but no, I only spent like $400. She says things like, $3,000 is like dirt to me because I don't need it. It's trash, but if y'all need it, I'll throw it to you. She gets herself the newest iPhone in pink because, of course, Miss Ashley Trevino is a pretty little princess. She goes to purchase a Louis Vuitton purse, and I'm not entirely sure why she chooses this purse, but it's quite literally a carry-on bag. She just buys a giant-sized duffel bag, but uses it as a purse. She just always has it like on the crook of her elbow. And she just starts carrying around a Louis Vuitton travel bag to the point where it has sparked a trend on TikTok where people say, I'm Ash Trevino and I'm showing you my outfit for the day. And they're hooking on literal suitcases to the crook of their elbows because it's just the most...
Is it like a tote bag or?
No, it's a duffel with the two short handles. Yeah, the Louis Vuitton duffel.
Actual duffel bag.
Yes, an actual duffel bag. It's like the size of her.
That's crazy. That's a big size. Duffel bag. Crazy, man. Especially if you're making $12,000 a day, or you made $12,000 was your highest, and then $1,200. I feel like regardless of where your children are staying, if you know they're going to come back and visit, you will want to make it as comfortable as possible. At least that's what I would think. You know, let me know down in the comment section what you guys think, because you're spending $900, $700 on hot Cheetos and bean dip and Twix and Hershey packs and all this other stuff, and it's just like you could have used that to get like a simple bunk bed. You didn't have to go all out to get a bunk bed. You know, some of these you know, corner stores and other places just be handcrafted bunk beds and all that stuff too, be going away super dirt cheap for like $500-$600, man. You can find some of those on the corner. At least that's where I was seeing when I was in LA. You go to like the little hole in the wall swap meet places and you can get like literally a whole bunk bed set. You just got to put it together, you know what I mean? But you could pay somebody to do that, but even then you wouldn't even exceed $1,000 unless you just went out of your way to get something that was like in super pristine condition and it was like name brand and it came with all this extra stuff that you didn't need. But I mean, I guess it's like priorities, you know what I mean? You know, some people use their finances to help others and other people use their finances to help themselves. And it's just like, you can't get mad at either or, because it's like I said, it's their money. You can't tell somebody else what to do with their money. So it is what it is at that point.
She said she paid $3,000. I guess she paid that much to look ridiculous. There's also a clip of her where she's seen out shopping and she has this little Louis Vuitton bag, and it's not a purse, it's the actual shopping bag, indicating that she just got out of the store. And when she sees somebody recording her, she places it straight in front of her and starts swinging it around. It is the strangest thing. She says, I kid you not, I already bought 2 Louis purses over $6,000 within a month, couple weeks. Sunglasses from Louis, my apartment. I'm telling you, it's good money. She's talking about TikTok lives. She brags about spending $327 at the Cheesecake Factory for 2 people, which I will be real with you. The Cheesecake Factory is not cheap, but it's also not that expensive. That is crazy. Mm-hmm. But she can't afford beds for her kids? Her explanation to netizens, and I don't know if she's going to have a chance to explain this to CPS workers or if they're even going to ask, but I digress. She explained.
For sure, but now that I know that they fixed up their room, you see the LED lights? They fixed up their room. They brought their cajones back from my mom's house because they had their vanity stuff over there. They brought everything back, so now I'm going to buy them a bed for Christmas. But I'm going to get it before Christmas. But I don't know if I should get them bunk beds because they're older or if I should get them one bed to share.
That's crazy.
One bed to share.
She says, additionally, this excuse is brought up that she's just not sure which bed to get them, and that's the reason that she's stalling from purchasing a bed. But she continues to spend so much money. She spends, I would assume, thousands of dollars every single week on DoorDash, Ubers, and Airbnbs, as well as alcohol.
Like she's living at different Airbnbs?
Yes, she just loves to go to different Airbnbs and just party with 19-year-olds that she meets on TikTok. This is a 36-year-old woman. This is oddly infuriating, but it's not just material goods that she's purchasing. At one point, Ashley leaves her kids at home to go to Disneyland. She lives in Texas, so she flies to Disney, which Disney adults, great, do your thing. But also, if you have children and you love Disney, I can't imagine not wanting to experience it with them. When netizens call her out on this, like, this is so weird. You've got 2 girls and you go to Disney by yourself?
I didn't take them to Disney. I've said this before. If you were not on that live, I'm sorry you weren't there. But I did not take them to Disney because my kids do not fly.
What do you mean when she said that they don't fly?
They don't like to get on an airplane, which is not true. Her kids have TikTok accounts, and one of them debunked her, literally saying, I don't know why she said that. Like, I fly. Like, I'm not scared of airplanes. This is so weird. And also, if the reason that she doesn't take them is because of school, why doesn't she just take them when they're on break? It's not like she has to go Monday through Wednesday. She could go on the weekend or during spring break. But the bragging never ends. Ashley Trevino even casually brags about getting a BMW. She just is in a BMW one day. She's sitting there eating In-N-Out live streaming, and she's showing her face. So she's sitting in the driver's seat eating In-N-Out, and she goes, y'all, I'm eating In-N-Out. And then she takes time to reverse the camera to show the steering wheel, and she said, okay, I got a BMW and it suits me. Sunroof, and it's nice. Like, it has an LED light over here and over here on the dash as well.
Did she buy a BMW or is she?
So clearly she can afford a bed. She also makes fun of her friends for flying Spirit while she flies first class.
Hey, I don't make fun of nobody that flies Spirit. I haven't flown Spirit, but hey, as long as you get to your destination, we gonna touch the same ground. We gonna fly to the same sky. You do what you gotta do. Who cares what anybody say? I don't want the cameras to see me. I'll wave my Spirit ticket right in your face. Cause you know why? I'm still boarding my plane and I'm still gonna land where I'm land. The landing might be rough, but I'm still gonna land where I'm supposed to land. I'm gonna have a great time. I'm gonna be in the same spot you were. Only difference is you flew first class. You flew with probably like a higher ticket, paying $300-400. Shoot, you can cram in like sardines. I'll take my rest once we land, buddy.
It is expected by CPS that parents provide a safe environment for their children. Interactions between family members are evaluated to identify nurturing relationships or potential signs of emotional or physical abuse. In another live stream, Ashley is on live while she's on the phone with her daughter. She asks her daughter, do you want lip fillers? Which her daughters, even if they were of age, they're 13 and 16. I wouldn't feel comfortable with my mom asking me that. I would feel pretty insecure.
Do you want lip filler?
No, my lips are actually big.
They're not that big, baby.
Okay, but they're big enough for me.
There you go.
They're not that big.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Why are you being a hater?
Let me see.
They look like the same size as yours.
No, they don't.
Mom, yes, they do.
And no, they don't.
She's FaceTiming her daughter and smirking on the camera at her own daughter's lips, and she's scoffing. In a separate live stream, she's on FaceTime again with her daughter, and her daughter says, my nose is so perfect. This is a little taken out of context, and I'll explain, but it has gone viral.
Yeah, my nose is so perfect.
No, your nose is not perfect.
That's crazy.
Bye.
Now, to
That's
be fair,
crazy.
this is because her daughter did get a nose piercing, and this is the FaceTime where she reveals it to her mom. So she does have some right, I guess, to be angry, but not really, because she's not mothering them well anyway, regardless. But netizens don't think that makes this any better. This is the same woman that on live stream, she called her own two daughters slurs while laughing.
Such as?
Slurs targeted towards the Mexican community.
Oh.
In another clip, she's talking to her kids and they're arguing. I have an A+ in every class. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you're not. You're not. You're probably barely going to pass anyway, literally. To which comments read, who needs enemies when you have a mom like Ash Trevino?
That's
But
crazy.
it's not even just the emotional abuse, because there are so many different pillars on how you take care of children. You can't even just physically provide the necessities. You have to emotionally be there and physically be there for them. Her younger daughter, E, has to go to the hospital one day. They already made it back home. She's on live stream, and Ashley, instead of taking her, jumps on another TikTok live and says, guys, this is my sickly baby. That's the one that I have to go take to the hospital and go get tested in a couple weeks. I'm not going to explain nothing else because she doesn't want me to. Mere minutes later, I don't even think 10 minutes have passed. She says, if y'all want me to tell you about my baby girl's health, go ahead and send the galaxies. Galaxies being $15 donations on TikTok, because there's tiers to the donations.
If y'all want me to tell y'all about my baby girl's health, go ahead and send the galaxies.
She's willing to sell her daughter's medical history for the highest bidder. In another moment that might end up in a CPS file somewhere, Ashley's live streaming. She's walking into her room dancing to her song called Nunu. We're going to get into that. One of her daughters is throwing up in the hallway. She tells her mom, Mom, I just threw up.
Mom, I just threw up.
You just threw up? Why?
You're lying.
She turns around and keeps dancing.
Mom, I threw a party dancing. She's dancing? Yes. Alexa, stop.
Bro, I was jamming to Nunu.
Netizens are commenting the fact that her first instinct is to accuse her of lying. She treats her daughters like they're just roommates in their own home, like there's no relationship between them. For Thanksgiving,
That's
for
crazy.
example, Ashley drives her kids. These are the netizens are compiling on Reddit all the things that they want to send to CPS. They're like mass reporting her to CPS. For Thanksgiving, Ashley drives her kids 8 hours to El Paso, Texas, where she's going to stay with who she calls her tia. Tia meaning auntie in Spanish. But this is not Ashley's auntie. This is not the kids' tia. This is a random person that Ashley has met on the internet that she calls auntie. She's not been invited to her own parents' Thanksgiving, so she's going to a random person that she met online to her home, bringing her kids all the way to El Paso, Texas on Thanksgiving, leaving them sick and alone in the Airbnb. She's like, go order DoorDash for Thanksgiving. I'm going to go get drunk at the bars. And she's live streaming all of this.
So my only question is, since they are of age 16 and 13, do they want help? I know that's probably a stupid question to ask, but like if CPSs keep going out there and they're not finding anything, are they talking to the kids? Because usually they're of age to say something's going on. So is it getting to the point to where they're just making content to make it seem like, hey, this person is bad? Kind of like how the Kardashians do, where they just do dramatic stuff to gain attention on themselves. And like other celebrities do the same thing, where like the dude, can't remember his name, he said he got jumped or something like that, but it come to find out he paid people to beat him up to make it look like it was a hate crime. It was just a lot of, they do stuff like this, so it's not unheard of, right? And now that AI is around, you can only imagine what's up, like what's coming up in the future. So I'm wondering if the daughters are even saying like, hey, we're fine, she's always like this, she take care of us, they just don't want to see their mom get in trouble, or they're just not being spoken to. So I'm curious to see if that pops up later on, because I'm starting to believe like, okay, why is it CPS working? That would have to mean that the dogs are not saying anything to corroborate or to kind of like confirm the accusations that's been going on against Ash.
I'm so sorry. It's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
They're going to the stranger's house.
Yeah, and then so she rented an Airbnb in El Paso, Texas, and she goes to El Paso to meet up with her auntie that is a stranger that she meets online. She brings her kids, throws them into the Airbnb, and is like, here, order DoorDash because I'm about to go out with the auntie that I met on TikTok and a bunch of her friends.
Oh.
On Thanksgiving, she's like, just order whatever you want.
No
But
turkey?
It's already not a good look, but it gets worse. While she's posting in El Paso, because she does not understand that live streaming does not mean that you have to stream the entirety of your life, she starts posting about being in El Paso. Another creator on TikTok sees this and posts a TikTok where she is tying her hair up into a messy bun, and she says, when you find out Ashley Trevino is in El Paso, indicating she's trying to fight Ashley Trevino. Ash, a full mother of two, starts mocking the creator on her live stream.
She's like, when you find out Ash Trevino's in El Paso, I'm in El Paso and I'm gonna your baby daddy. What are you gonna do?
She proceeds to tell the girl, then pull up then, and gives out the very specific bar that she will be visiting later that night. She begs the creator to pull up because the creator is GHETTO and they're in the rich neighborhood and the cops are gonna take care of her. Ashley is live streaming at the bar, and I'm not entirely sure why she looks so surprised when the creator that she has been taunting the entire night does indeed show up to the bar. Since she's pretty much given out her GPS coordinates and everything, she's just sitting there while the other creator is saying, you asked me to pull up, you asked me to pull up, and now you don't want to say anything, you asked me to pull up. The situation escalates to some mediocre hair pulling before everybody is kicked out of the establishment. The other creator goes on live to talk about what happened, and she says, this is me. I was like, so you tell me to pull up? You tell me to pull up? And Ash starts getting up. So I went and I grabbed her hair. I snatched that. Bro, tell me why her hair feels like grass, bro. I grabbed it and it ripped off. Ash is later live streaming, brushing her hair with her fingers, saying, I don't even have my bobby pin anymore. I think she took it. I really do think she took it like for an autograph or something because I don't have it anymore. You would have thought like a that didn't like me was gonna swing. She would have swung at the okay? This pulls my hair. Like it's the first reaction this does. And I'm like, she pulled my hair. And this is fat as this is really fat. She's saying all of this in the car while the stranger that she met on TikTok, the auntie, is driving. But now
you can see the fear in her eyes too if you want to go back and look at it. Oh, she was scared. She didn't know that butt whoopings was real. She showed up. She said, "Oh, like, oh man, I got to deal with this now." She was trying to think of an escape plan. She was like, "Where is the nearest exit?" You can see her eyes were glossy. She was about to cry. She was about to cry. You see her eyes were glossy. She was looking around the room. She was trying to signal for help. She was like, yeah, you know what I mean? She was trying to cross security on the low, bro. It was a wrap. She was scared out of her mind.
to some extent, this auntie is intoxicated. They were live streaming in the bar where viewers clearly see her drinking. So now the drinking and driving is being live documented. When they get back to the auntie's house, the kids end up coming there, and E, the younger daughter, is not feeling well. She feels sick. She wants to throw up. On top of that, she's likely stressed and freaking out, or at least anxious about the bar fight that Ashley got into, because she tells Ashley, "I saw the video of what happened at the bar. Like, I was watching the live." And if you're wondering, how do I know all of this? It's because Ashley is still live streaming right now at the auntie's house. And when they're at the Tia's house, when the night is over, the Tia's ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend come over and a whole fight breaks out. Ashley is live streaming. You can't see too much. The cameraman is not doing their job because they're in the middle of the fight. Eventually, Ashley decides to call the police, but she's still live streaming. She does not turn it off. She does not mute her phone. She goes on to tell the police that they need to hurry and come, and here is the address. She says her auntie's full residential home address on the live stream. She doxes this auntie's place of residence, but also the place that she brought her children to. The police leave, and the auntie and all of them go back to Ashley's rented Airbnb because they don't feel safe there anymore. Which, side note, this is actually where a viral TikTok clip is formed. Ash Trevino calls her private parts her nunu, and she has this whole song about it, and people have this running joke that her nunu, her private spots, are quite smelly. They don't smell good. And there's this one clip that's been taken out of context.
Why does she call it nunu?
I have no clue.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's asking her auntie, "Does it smell? Yeah, does it smell? Does it smell? Does it smell in there? Does it smell? Does it smell? Does it smell? Did it smell? Did it smell?" And she's asking her like 10 times while she's on live stream.
Did it smell? Did it smell?
The context of this is she was vaping in the bathroom, and she didn't want her kids to know that she was vaping in the bathroom. But that doesn't even make sense because they're in a different live. She was caught giving her kids her vape to use.
What?
So I don't know why she's asking if it smelled, if she was insinuating something else and then was trying to cover it up with this whole vape story. But it's become this whole internet meme with a life of its own of, did it smell? Did it smell? Did it smell? No, but did it smell? So the group of them, they're now back at Ashley's Airbnb, and the daughters are there. Ashley is live streaming, and she's standing there chowing down on fries, and you just hear the auntie talking to her because a physical fight broke out. I don't know the extent, but it seems like to some extent there was domestic violence. This is the auntie's ex-boyfriend that came, and a physical altercation took place between him and the auntie. And the auntie, she's dry heaving because it's pretty clear that from the perspective of the live stream, she was harmed physically to some level. She tells Ashley, "I don't know how much abuse I told you about, but I never told my daughter about it." It is so ridiculous because Ashley continues chowing down on the fries that someone even comments, "And back to the food we go." The El Paso incident, it becomes dubbed that in the Ash Trevino lore, is just this incredibly idiotic and unsafe situation. The drinking and driving, obviously, but also the fact that Ashley is egging a stranger to come and fight her, even though her kids are in town. She doxes her auntie. She confronts the stranger at the bar. I mean, there's so much going on, and it's just flat out dumb. But the most mind-numbing thing, the most mind-numbing part of all of this is this isn't even the first time that somebody pulls up to fight Ashley. She has been through this whole rodeo before. Ashley has started getting herself into altercations with other TikTokers, one of them being a creator by the name of Tampa Bay, who has taken the initiative to create a GoFundMe to support her travel fees to go to Ashley's home to physically assault her and pull up, which I like to mind my own business most of the time. I don't know the first thing about Tampa Bay, but I do know that Ashley should understand that whatever she is doing online is going to come back to her kids. There are creators out there that are wanting to find Ashley's home and confront her home where her kids often stay. It's a dangerous situation overall. Ashley would even tell Tampa Bay, "Pull up to my house then. Pull up."
Tampa Bay said she was gonna come in 5 weeks.
I'll be waiting.
Tampa Bay does in fact pull up. Thankfully, the kids are fine. Well, fine in that situation. But Ashley has repeatedly doxed her home address with no regard for her kids' safety. There have been incidents where the girls, the children, have noticed strange cars driving around, scoping out their house, and naturally they get very concerned, they get very anxious, very worried. They call the police. The two daughters and Ashley are home. Ashley is home. The guardian is home. The police arrive. They have to take a report. Ashley lets her two girls talk to the police officer while she stands there, pointing her finger in the air, holding up her phone. She's in the midst of a very intense, cutthroat TikTok battle. This is how she signals donate, donate. So, you know, TikTok battles, you see the lifeline go up and you're trying to get donations to beat the other creator. You have to keep doing some tapping motion to indicate like, donate, donate, donate. This is her favorite thing, to tap in the air. And that means donate to me, donate to me. And she's tapping. I mean, nothing, not even her safety, her children's safety is going to get in the way of her getting those freaking galaxies.
And it's crazy because drama sells, and it sells like a son of a gun, bro. Like it sells so much. People love drama. You ever heard the saying, all publicity is good publicity? That's what this is. I feel like no matter what she does, I don't know the end of the video, but about what she does, there are always going to be the hand select people that think just like her. Let's say she has 1 million followers, right? And about 350,000 of us just believe that this person is just out of control. Like, I can't believe this is happening. And then you got the other 650,000 that thinks just like her. Like, it might be like, this is crazy. I can't believe someone's like this. There's people like her, and there's people that's even worse. Yes, believe it. It's crazy to think about. You know, you have some people that's on TikTok spreading the Lord's word and drawing pictures and stuff and not getting the recognition. Then you got her over here eating hot Cheeto bean dip and fighting people and getting her hair and tracks pulled out, and people just like, oh, I love this. Yeah, send galaxies, send galaxies. And it's just like, you could just see the whole facade. She's not about that life. She's not about fighting. She's not about anything, but she knows it's a cliffhanger. She knows it's going to draw in more people. She knows it's going to gather more attention. That's like me getting into an argument with one of your favorite YouTubers. People are going to be like, well, I don't know who he is, but he's arguing with my YouTuber. Now I'm going to go over to her page. So not only are their subscribers and followers coming back over here, now the certain ones that's going to come over here is going to be going back and forth for the beef. So now we're both getting views and drawing attention and stuff. And then it goes to the next channel, and the next channel. And it just keeps happening over and over again because people are allowing her to stay relevant. And it's crazy.
She goes out to the front to get a view of the cop car. She's showing this in the back, the officer, and she's whispering, double it, double it, double it, double it, double it, double it. Come on, come on, double it, double it, double it.
Is she whispering or?
Yeah, but I'm sure the officer can hear her.
What the fuck?
Yeah. In another clip, she tells the live that her daughter has a burn, and she asks, what can I put on their burn? She's on the phone with her friend who says, I really think you should take your daughter to urgent care if it's bad. Can you send me a picture of it? Then I'm going to have to get a freaking Uber.
Where's your car?
Just because you have to get an Uber doesn't mean you shouldn't take her to the freaking urgent care. I know, but I have to get up early tomorrow. So now she is physically neglecting her children as well. But it does get worse. When one is watching an Ash Trevino live stream, there's always one thing that gets brought up, used, seen, just peeking from the side somewhere like a little stalker, and it's her adult device, specifically one that is shaped like a rose. I'm just going to call it the rose, the haunted rose. And when she is confronted with the fact that she just has him laying around in a home where she has a 13 and 16-year-old daughter, I mean, why? Why not put it in a drawer like a normal person? She's asked on live, why do people support you when you have toys in front of your minor kids? And she screams, do they use them? They still touch them, asking, what should we name these? So to give you some context, there was an incident that this creator is referring to from a separate live stream. Ashley she's charging the haunted rose. And I guess one of her kids spots it and is like, what is this that's charging?
Ew, why is that thing charging?
Can you leave my rose alone? Bro, leave my rose alone. She needs me in a little bit.
And the daughter asks, what's her name? Who? The rose? What's her name? Oh, I haven't named her yet. What should we name her? We should name her H. She says her name, her own name. The daughter says her own name because she's 16. She doesn't know what's going on. And the mom says, ew, I don't want to name her that. Ashley just has this strange belief that is so untethered from reality that if she says something during a live stream, it just goes floating into the ether. It can never be used against her. She admits to her viewers on live that she used to have this crazy animosity towards her eldest daughter. She says she didn't even like the fact that her children's father always paid more attention to their daughter than to her.
That's
Because it's a little
pocket.
child that needs a lot of attention and care to fully develop into a functioning human being, and that is the responsibility of both parents. But to Ashley, this is rather unacceptable. One of the 7 deadly sins, if you ask her. She claims that she would get so upset that she would grab her daughter H by the hair and yank her to the ground, and she's saying all of this proudly.
Haley literally has been through like the bottom of her life. Like, I'm telling you, whenever we lived with her dad, I used to pull her by the hair because I was so mad at her. Like, I feel like he loved her more than he loved me, and so like I took my anger out on her. And she doesn't even like hate me for that. Like, she doesn't even remember that.
Netizens are threatening, if not already dialing CPS on Ashley for that clip alone. They're commenting about how crazy this is that she's jealous of her own child. Ashley decides to then further address the situation on a separate live stream, clarifying. By the way, she's doing her makeup while clarifying this very serious allegation, and the beauty blender she is using is the biggest makeup sponge I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes. It's the size of a dish sponge. But that's neither here nor there. She continues, she states, "Was I hit as a kid? Yes. I was always hit as a kid. That's why I wouldn't hit my kids. I never abused my daughter, you guys. What I said was I would get mad at her. Yes, I would. I pulled her hair. Yeah, but I never abused her. I never hit my kids, you guys. That's one thing y'all need to understand. The only reason that I pulled her hair was because she ran from me and I tried to grab her, and instead I grabbed her hair. I never abused my kids. I never hit my kids. If you ask my kids if I hit them, I don't hit them. That's why they don't listen to me." And this was when she was little. This was a long time ago. I don't care. Y'all can sit there and call me an abuser, call me what you want, but at the end of the day, my kids know I never abuse them. They never have bruises on them. If anything, I bribe my kids with money. But then on a separate live stream, she'll also admit that she almost went to jail. She says, "How did the glass break?" So I'm implying, I'm deducing that there was some broken glass and everybody was asking her about it. She said, "I threw the glass. I broke my phone too. My phone's broke right now. 2 days ago, me and my daughter got into it and she threw a chair at me and my leg is bruised. She put her hands on me and I already told her, stop putting your hands on me, bro. This is not the first time she's done that." We can somewhat decipher that she threw her phone and some sort of glass object. And she does even more alarming stuff. These are all the things that people are trying to report to CPS. Ashley is on the phone with a romantic interest of hers. He's on speakerphone, and Ashley has her daughter right next to her. The guy asks her,
Hey, can I ask you a question? Can I take you to my crib?
Sure, go ahead. Just don't fucking take advantage of my daughter.
Wait, what you said?
Just don't make me a grandma.
What?
yeah, exactly.
That's out of pocket,
Okay.
bro.
It just reminds me very much of Jennifer Soto.
Yeah.
Why are you even saying that? Why are you bringing up Woody Allen right now?
Yeah.
Later on a live stream, she says, "It's like one of my kids. She meets a guy. She likes him. Hypothetically, this is what she's saying hypothetically. She wants to do something. The guy asks her, 'How old are you?' She says, 'I'm 18. I'm 17. She's 15 at this point. Guy believes it. And then I find out, honestly, if I find out my daughter's doing something, I'm not going to sit there and call the cops. I was her age once. I was doing it, so. But the alarming stuff comes in by the types of people that she decides to surround herself and indirectly put in her daughter's paths. She goes on a live stream to talk about writing to Chris Watts, the infamous killer who killed his wife and his 2 kids. Her friend tells her that he's evil, that he killed his wife and kids. And Ashley responds, "Well, maybe he killed his wife because he's not happy."
What?
And said that the episode on Chris Watts on some sort of crime show made her fall asleep.
What does that imply? Like,
Like it was
just
soothing?
rude. What do you mean? 3 people lost their lives and you're falling asleep on the couch? Just turn it off.
I think it was on
Why are you
Netflix.
saying this? What's happening right now? Do you know what an inmate hopper is? It's someone who likes to date inmates and will jump from one inmate to another. Typically, I would imagine they themselves are not an inmate, so they're Instead of on Hinge, they're exclusively finding romantic partners on writeaprisoner.com.
Yeah, and it's starting to pick up now. Again, I don't know if you guys are seeing it, but I think they call it was like Prison Bay or something like that. And now they got these people that's type these glorious mug shots, and they're like, oh, they're models. It's men and women. They got them taking pictures and stuff, and people are just like, oh, what's her? What did she do? Whatever she did, I bet she didn't do it. Like, bro, shut up. People are out there doing the same thing right now, saying like, oh, he didn't do it, it's okay, I'll pay for your books and all this stuff out of pocket. I bet it right now, if you looked it up on Instagram, which I highly wouldn't recommend, but if you looked it up on Instagram and other places, you'll probably see what I'm talking about. But some of you that scroll throughout the day, like myself, even though you're not looking for it, sometimes you come across it. So it is out there. Something that's new. It's just something that like starting to come to light, and they're starting to make it normalized. And I don't know, let me know what down in the comment section what you think. You know, I get it, you know, sometimes people do find love in weird places, but I don't think murderers is the place to find it. I don't know why people believe that since they killed somebody, they're not going to be able to do the same thing to them. Is it possible for people to be rehabilitated? Absolutely, but that's not always the case. Even with Richard Ramirez, you see that he got all those letters and stuff like that. Ted Bundy got all those letters and all that. It was just people are addicted to that. I don't know if it's a fantasy. I don't know if it's just like the dominance aspect of it. I don't know if it's just I don't know. It's sick, it's twisted, but you like what you like, you know what I mean? But I don't see why people do it, but some people do it. So.
And Ashley Trevino gets known on TikTok for being an inmate hopper, but it really all starts with this very awkward moment when she live streams herself picking up her boyfriend of 9 months from jail while he's being released.
Wait, is this the one that happened?
No, that was a separate person who likes to sleep with inmates when they get out, or she slept with one inmate and it was connected to Wade Wilson because she was like, Wade Wilson, hi, and then recovered. Yeah, it's like a thing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Thing, yes. She brings him to this hotel room. There's a giant heart on the hotel bed made out of roses. She has a whole snack basket picked out for him, and he's just walking in, and the whole live stream is uncomfortably awkward. He's ignoring her. He doesn't seem excited to be there. He doesn't even look excited to be a free man. It almost appears by some netizens' perspectives that the prospect of him getting into bed with Ashley Trevino, he'd rather go back into his cell. And the energy, the visuals are just off, and people are commenting, I remember when my ex came out of jail, he literally could not stop touching me nonstop. He would not stop holding me. He would not stop paying attention to me. Jesse showed no interest in her. This is so sad.
Probably the money.
It is pretty clear that Jesse was likely using her for commissary funds when he was in prison. Even when they live stream together, he looks like he wants to keep a safe 6 feet social distancing space between them. But before you even feel a tiny modest sympathy for Ashley, she also gets upset when Jesse wants to see his own children because she doesn't want his child's mother in his life. Within 3 days of Jesse being out, she's calling him her husband. People are confronting her about the fact that he has his child's mother's face tattooed on him, and they tell her, hey, are you not upset? They're just trying to start drama. Okay, they're egging her on, the netizens. They're like, are you not upset? You don't want your face tattooed on Jesse? And she gets very defensive. I'm good. I don't need a tattoo to symbolize what I am to my husband. As long as I know where I stand with my husband, we're fine. But she gets his TikTok handle tattooed on her. Not even his name, the TikTok handle. Like, at Rotten Mango, imagine you tattooing that.
That's crazy.
Wait, she tattooed it on her body?
Yes, his TikTok handle.
What?
The relationship lasts somewhere in the ballpark of 8 business days before Ashley is on live stream ranting, clapping her hands as if we are the ones to blame for this. She says, and that's what irritates me. Y'all think you know him? Y'all don't, bro. I was with him for 9 months, holding him down, and he's talked so much crap about me. The tears that I have to hold back when I see him. Look, he's requesting again to be in my live stream. He's requesting again. Jesse is not a nice person. Jesse is a really mean, ugly person. Y'all don't know what I've had to endure the last 2 weeks, okay? I'm not wanting to bash him. He's not a nice person. Jesse let all these females make him feel like he was just the luckiest man out there. He was just using me for clout because without Ashley, Jesse is not nothing. Without Ashley, there is no Jesse. I made Jesse. She's 36. Later in a video, she responds, why did you guys break up? So she's like reading the comments. Why did you guys break up? Because of social media. A lot of females were in his inbox. I just didn't have the trust. I would tell him I wish he was back in prison because I trusted him in prison because nobody knew who he was. Nobody was writing to him. He wasn't calling them. You know, when he came out, I let him have social media. I gave him a little cheat phone. I told him, make a TikTok. I said, make a TikTok, babe. And that was my biggest mistake, was to let him get involved in the social media life.
How
You
many
did it.
followers does she have?
It's hard to say because she keeps getting her accounts deleted.
Really?
Yeah, I think she's like on her 6th account.
Because of like...
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, because she'll
People
just...
report her and...
Yeah, and then she'll just completely flash her entire bare chest on a live stream on TikTok.
Huh.
There are also some very strange moments in this whole relationship saga with Jessie. Ashley goes on live where her daughters are her moderators. I don't know if they were her moderators for every single live, but the fact that they are her moderators and they have frequently said, like, Mom, don't do this. Mom, don't say this. They'll come into the room sometimes while she's live streaming to say, stop doing this. So it's pretty clear that they know what she's doing on live. They're watching. She states, to be honest, you guys, it's just going to give Jessie more clout. Just kidding. He has an 8-inch.
I mean, the first day we did it like, what, 5 or 6 times? If I can remember, maybe a little bit more the first day. The first weekend was pretty wild. I literally could feel him like up here. And I would tell him like, it hurts. Like,
She goes into graphic detail describing...
Please don't be letting people know about your intimate lifestyles, because that's not for public use, I guess you could say, or for public knowledge. You know, you can say work with what you got. You know, if y'all love it, great, but you don't have to tell everybody about what's going on. I never knew why people did it. You know what I mean? I'm a super private person when it comes to that kind of stuff. So, I mean, to each his own, you know what I'm saying? But I just felt like that's something that you guys should hold as one and like as a together thing, you know what I'm saying? As a relationship wise. And it's to respect your relationship. Cause I just never felt comfortable just being there, just sitting around, just a group of dudes telling them what your girl can do in bed. Like, what? Like, why would I want you to know that? You know what I mean? Like, then you could be imagining my girl and heck no, bro. That's my booty. I mean, it's my woman.
You need to leave.
The width, I guess. In a separate live, she's asked, was there passion? To be honest, yeah. It's crazy though, because for like 2 weeks, it was still good after the second week. The first day we did it like 5 or 6 times. I can't even remember. Maybe a little more. The first day, the first weekend was pretty wild. I would tell him like, it hurts everywhere, everything. And then she would just nod, licking her lips. And every single time we didn't use protection. And he never pulled out. Meanwhile, Jessie is on a separate live stream where he claims that he had to put a blanket to cover Ashley Trevino's entire body and face because he could not get excited for activities without that.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
That's crazy.
Did you like put like a bag over her head when you guys,
Okay, so I put the blanket. I put the blanket all over her. I just wanted to see that. If I seen anything else, it wasn't gonna work out. You know what I'm saying?
The top comments are, mind you, this is my phone. Mind you, I just woke up. Soon after their breakup, Ashley starts hinting at the fact that she might be pregnant. And hinting is a severe understatement. She might as well have tattooed it on her. Potentially pregnant. She tells her viewers,
I was ovulating the day after the day he came home. We can all be your baby daddy. You want to be my baby daddy? No, I already told Jesse that if I'm pregnant, I told him on the way to Irving. I said, on the way to Irving, I told him, I said, look, if I'm pregnant, because I told him, I said, I start my period in 3 days. And he's like, what are you telling me? I said, I'm just saying, I start my period in 3 days. And he's like, what are you telling me, Ashley? And I was like, no, I'm just saying, like, just in case, something happens and I'm pregnant, I don't need you to be there for me. I said, I can raise this baby on my own. I've raised 2 of them on my own. I don't need you to be here to raise my baby.
people were so confused by this. People started putting the dates together, and Ashley's digital footprint has likely accelerated climate change by at least 24 months. She is live streaming every single waking moment of her day, which is not a great thing to do if you don't want to get caught in your own lies. People are running through the timelines to point out, wait, if she was pregnant, then she had her period on this date, then she would have known that she was pregnant if she missed her period. But those days that she would have known that she was pregnant or potentially pregnant, she was just drinking and live streaming all the time. When she's confronted with this, netizens are very upset because that's a very serious thing to do, is drink while potentially pregnant. And she says she's drinking because she's not 1,000% confident that she's pregnant when you can just take a pregnancy test. She says that she merely has a suspicion that she's pregnant, but she didn't take a test yet. It is the very accurate, very true intellectual theory that if you don't know, it does not exist. She says, once I find out for sure that I'm pregnant, I'm not drinking. I am off of it for 9 months.